Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne. I am coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne out on my windy deck today. We are going to be making some jewelry. Look at these cute, adorable pendants. So if you saw my video the other day where I did that, well, actually it's been the last couple Temu hauls that I've done. I think this was in my very last Temu haul. And it was just the pendants. So you get all different colors of these. And then you get a whole bunch of these sort of glass ovals that you just put in these. So if you saw my video the other day where we did these really funky little birds, I said, pay attention to this because we're going to be having some other projects come up. I was just waiting for these to come in so we can paint these birds and put them here. Now, I also have, let me put this here. Yeah, and you have to put bails on these. I don't have all my bails and stuff out here. If you do jewelry, you know how to attach a bail. But I also have these. Now, I had got them for a different project. So it's this, and it's a little bit of a, sets in a little bit. You can see that's how much it sets in. So this type of pendant is more like a little dish. And these were they stainless steel? I think they were stainless steel. So I have one here. It is wet. It is not completely dried. Gingerly move it. I'm not sure I'm as whacked about this one. It's not dry yet. It will dry clear. That's how you know it's dry, is when it turns clear. This was a lot more work to work with than something like this, which was so easy. So I'm kind of thinking we're not going to do the other one. We're just going to do this one. This is so much easier, like incredibly easy. And then you just attach a different type of loop or a bail or something to this so you can put a necklace through it. This is angled the wrong way to put a necklace through it. You need one going this way. So you can just do a jump ring or something, but I have actual pretty bails. So if you saw my video the other day, you know that we were working with my watercolors. We were working with my artsy watercolor metallic set. That is one way to do it. I have another way to do this. Maybe you're not a watercolor person. I just got this set at Ollie's, and I just saw markers. I didn't even read any of this. I saw this brand, which I know, of marker, and I saw $4.99. I saw it was a double-tipped marker. I'm like, oh, let me get that. It was in the line to cash out, so it was like grab and go because there was a whole bunch of people in front of you and a whole bunch of people behind you, so I didn't really have an opportunity to sit and look at it. Now that I get home and I look at it, it's double-ended highlight pens. I'm still going to use them. And I did. So where did it go? Hold on. Well, is it this one? Can't remember if it was this one. One of these works. So out of these 20, we're going to do one right now. So you'll see. So it doesn't matter which one of these. I have the two pens here, and they are technically highlighters. Didn't know that when I saw it. Don't really care. So let me just move the wet one out of the way. So we don't need much space here on, and this is kind of warped. Let me just put that on. Okay, we'll put this here. Okay, so we don't need to do something overly big. We just need to do something this size. Now, let me grab one of these. This is the one, there's scratches in it. So we'll use this as my my one that's gonna decide the sizes and all that type of stuff. So I am using these two, the blue and the green. I am using the paint tip, or brush tip, sorry, the brush tip. I am doing a little circle. I go quite heavy-handed with it. I mean, it's a teeny tiny circle. It's probably the size of the tip of this or the size of an eraser on a pencil. Then I come in with my green, clearly it's a highlighter, and I'm just gonna hit the tip of that blue. That's all I did. Now, what I do is I am using a number 3, I think it's a 3 round, and I'm adding water to it. Little heavy-handed, but that's okay. It turns it into a watercolor. They're not waterproof, which is fine with me. Looks like a watercolor. So we're gonna let that dry. Stuff all over it. And I have pine pitch on this. Ugh, I was washing that off earlier. I'm outside, like the trees are like right here. So we're gonna do a couple more in this row here. I did pre-wet some of these, but we're gonna come through and we're gonna wet them again. Normally I like to spray it. My spray bottle is not out here, which is fine. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water here, so I can come in and use these. Of course, my brush will be wet as well when I come in to use these. Okay, so let me come back with my little brush here. Let's do some purple. I'm just gonna do it up a little bit higher. I'm just doing a little round dot while that's wet. I'm gonna come in with this, let me get more water on my brush. This sort of rosy, pinky red. I don't think you can see that. It's rosy, pinky red. Just give it a little bit at the top. Oh, it just kind of spread all around, but that's okay. You can still see the purple underneath. And then the next one, I like my blues. I like my oh, there's the turkeys. I like my turquoises. And then let's do a dot of purple. I kind of took it above it. Let me show you what we got. So there's our 3 so far. Teeny tiny compared to what we were doing the other day. Let's do an orange. And you know what, let's do a little bit of purple in the orange too. I'm just gonna take this just to the top of this, right on the paper itself. Yeah, it's not. It's flowing in, but it's not showing up the way I wanted it to. There. You can see I did the orange, just a tinge of purple. So there's our 4. Let's just move that right over here. So we need these to dry. So if you remember my video before, we need these to dry in order to do the little decoration around the bird. Now, when you put this glass, this is glass. When you put this glass dome on it, it amplifies. I did these super tiny, and it looks amplified when you get this glass dome on it. It's kind of neat how it does that. And then I did grass at the very bottom, but I need to draw in all the details before I can add in the little sort of grass decorations. I just think these are a riot. They're just so funny. Okay, this one is fairly dry that I can do the outside. These are gonna take a hot minute. You know what, I am going to come in with my scissors. And I am using watercolor paper. Let's just pop these in the sun over here to dry a little bit quicker while I work on this one. And I like how this one's spread. The watercolor doesn't spread the same way that the markers do. But the point in showing you that is, if you don't have watercolors and you have pens, give it a try. So we're gonna come around the edge. I never do just straight lines. I always do sort of wiggly lines coming around. Then we're gonna give them a beak, or her, a beak right there. And then I wanna come in with this and I wanna hold it right next to it. So I know I can do my little curly Q at the top. I can do some little loops here for the tail feathers. And now this is where I definitely need to make sure I have this here, because I need to do the legs. I'm not going to do the eye until the very last second, because in case this isn't fully dry, I need it to be. But we can come in with the grass. So let's pick up some green. I'm picking up this green right here. I'm giving my brush a little bit of a twist. I know there's a lot of green in this already, but that's okay. You know what, I'm going to take a little bit of this off. I'm going to roll it sort of right here where I have this other green. There. I'm just kind of flicking my brush up. And then I come in and I do a little bit of a line across. So I color in the white space. That's it. I do that to all of them. So let's see if, of course I can't quite tell. My fingers, I have nerve damage, so it's hard for me to tell if it's dry. I think it's dry. Let's take the paper towel. Yeah, it's dry. I'm just going to do a teeny dot for an eye. And I like the juxtaposition with the teeny tiny skinny legs and the little plumage and all that kind of silly stuff. They're silly, and that's what I like about them. So this one, since it's scratched, let's move it over here. Now, oh, I am using Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, and I've used this in other projects. I am a fan of it. I think it's a really great product, and I never shake it. I always give it a roll, and when I give it a roll, it's not creating air bubbles, as opposed to if I were to shake it, that creates air bubbles. You need far less of this than what you think you need. Hold on, let me get that off of here. Let me wipe off this. And I always like to do the first, see the first little bit creates a bubble. So I just do a teeny tiny little line. Teeny tiny little line. Can you see how much I did? I did like a little bit. I plonk down the gold bauble. I give it a wiggle. I am spreading out the Dimensional Magic stuff here. Make sure I like that positioning, and actually I do. So now we're just gonna let this dry, 2 seconds, and give it a little bit of a press so we can press out any excess liquid. And if some excess liquid comes in, I just clear it away with my fingernail and wipe it on my paper towel. You need a little bit, and when you wiggle it around, you evenly spread it, coat it, all that stuff. See, there's a bubble on this. Just wipe it off. It keeps doing that. It keeps doing the little bubbles. So I'm gonna let this dry for a couple seconds. Once that's dry, we're gonna cut it out and we're gonna put it into a frame. In the interim, let me check these. I think that one's fairly dry. I'm gonna put these back in the sun to further dry. This is mostly dry. It's not 100% dry, but it's mostly dry. So let's do the little circle around the body. Let's do the beak. Let's do some little plumage at the top. Some little tail feathers. Let me grab this. And we're going to use that so I know how far down I can go for the legs. Here's my legs. I can't tell if that's still wet. I think it's dry. Let's do a little dot for the eyeball. Grab another gem, bauble, whatever. You gotta check them because some of them have, like this one has all scratches in it. Right out of the bag, it had scratches in it. So, you can hear it's windy. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, finally. We needed it. So I just squeeze off a little bit because I can see there's air bubbles in it. Just a little line. Just a little line of that Dimensional Magic. Oh, now I gotta pick the one that didn't have the scratches in it. That one. So I put it down. I wiggle it because that spreads out the stuff. And I can see there's a spot that I need to have. Oh darn, it wasn't fully dry. And it ran. So you know what? Let's quickly take this off. Let's quickly wipe this off. Yeah, it's not wiping off. Once that's dry, I'll be able to clear it better. Yeah, the watercolor takes considerably longer to dry. I kind of thought it was too good to be true. So we'll just stick with this one. Where's my scissors? My testers, my display ones, not my testers, my display ones, I left, I left them out in the sun. while I was hanging laundry. I have so much laundry to do. So if you've been following my saga with my bathroom, my friend drove up from Mississippi, completely gutted, redid my bathroom. He does this stuff for work. But I couldn't find any plumber, anybody. So he came, drove all the way up here, stayed at a different friend's house, because he's from this area. Stayed up here. See, it fits beautifully. Did my whole bathroom in like 6 days, or thereabouts. So he had to gut my entire bathroom down to the studs, both walls and floors, because I had a major water leak. And replaced my toilet, replaced my sink, replaced the subfloor, replaced the floor, and then did a decorative floor over it. I just do a little line. I don't do a lot. Then had to replace the walls, some insulation in the walls. Like I said, did the sink. Then did trim at the bottom, trim around the top of, because he removed half my walls. So he had to add trim to the top of that, trim to the bottom. I have a beautiful floor. We are going to go in and paint it, my son and I. So I got that all done. In the meantime, he said to me, hey, you need somebody to come in and clean your furnace. So they did that today. Came in, cleaned my furnace, restarted my unit. And he's like, you're going to need a new furnace. I'm like, come on. How much is that? It's like, it's about $6,000. And he's like, and by the way, you're going to need a new tank outside to hold your K1, my fuel. I'm like, how much is that? $3,500. Guess how many of these things we're going to have to sell at the fair to afford this? I'm telling you. Oh, so that's done. Well, I'm rambling on. So I just need to add a bale. In the meantime, I need a new refrigerator. Like, my refrigerator is just about to die. The freezer hasn't worked in years properly. I have an external freezer. So I was going to get a dishwasher, a freezer, and a stove because it's a holiday weekend. There's deals going on all of these things. They're all on sale. Well, I'm not getting the dishwasher or the stove right now. My stove is from the 1980s. So we're going to just deal with that. Just deal. I'm beside myself. Luckily, my mom helps. My mom is an amazing help with all that. This is the one that's the marker. You see how beautiful that comes out? And this one, I can't tell if that's watercolor. That is watercolor, yes. So you can see they're both beautiful. I mean, they both came out really nice. Let me see how these are doing drying. So I'm not getting a dishwasher. I haven't had a dishwasher. I figured it out. It's actually been like 12 years since I've had a dishwasher. Whatever. I'm the dishwasher. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm like, can I get a used tank? He's like, no, it's actually illegal. I'm like, okay. So then I said, because I'm the psychic that I am, I said, hey, is your place hiring? And he's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, we're always looking for people. Why? I said, my son. And he says, how old's your son? You know, he's standing right there. He says he's 18. He says, oh, this would be a perfect career to go into. And he says, I wished I had gone into this when I was 18. So we took his information, my son's information. He called his boss. He said, nobody is going into the field that's young. This guy was 29 that came to do my thing. He says, I am by far the youngest in the whole company. And then all of these people are going to be retiring. And there's going to be nobody left in the field. So he said, you have to apprentice for 6 months, which they pay for. And then you have to do 10 weeks of schooling. And he said, sometimes they pay for that too. I did little dots on these. I like the little dots. He said, sometimes they pay for the schooling, but if you can pay for it yourself, he says, go ahead and pay for yourself because they'll make you sign like a 3-year contract. Like you'll stay with the company for 3 years. He said, it's a great company. He says, you're going to want to stay with the company. He said, but just in case, I'm going to put these over here to dry some more. He says, just in case, if you can pay for it yourself, do that. And my son is like, wow, I think I really would like this as a job because he's very mechanical. And I'm thinking, can I get a discount? And he said, you get a discount on fuel. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it. So the guy's going to call my son. He said, in the meantime, if I don't call, go into the building. The building is in our town, just on the other side of town. And it's one of the biggest companies in pretty much the county that we live in. So my son is going to do that. My son is going to follow up on that. And he said, you're going to need a certain set of tools and blah, 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 blah. When my friend was here redoing my bathroom, I gave him some money and I said, here, when you're at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever it is, getting supplies, pick me up a really nice set of tools that I can give my son for Christmas. And I'm going to sign my mom's name. And that will be like a big gift. So he did. Got a beautiful set. It's a $200 set of tools. That, because it's a holiday weekend, we got it for $125. So I'm super excited about that. So those will be tools that my son will be able to have for this potential job. How cool is that? I haven't told him about the tools. You know, I was saving it as a Christmas gift, but need be, I will tell him ahead of time. So I'm super excited. I think this is a great career. And this man that had come to the house was saying, this is something that you can use. Oh, I didn't do the green grass, but that's okay. I did the dots. He was saying this can be something that is a career for life path. He was saying he makes a lot of money. He didn't say how much he makes, but I'm quite sure he makes a lot of money. So I'm really excited for my son because, you know, he didn't get the job that he wanted. He is working a job that he likes, but it's not where he wants to see himself in 10 years. This man was saying this job you can make a career out of it. And he was saying if he had started when he was 18, he would have had $100,000 saved in the bank by now. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I said to my son, I'm not pushing you. I don't ever want to push him into something he doesn't want. But I said, I seriously think you need to look into this and consider this. And he said, I really think I need to consider this too. He says, I like working with motors and machines and, you know, all that sort of fun stuff. So, and he knows the job that he's in right now is temporary for him. He's doing it as a placeholder until he finds something that makes his heart sing in a different way. So, yay! I hate to have to pay all that money for that type of stuff, but if that turned into a potential job for my son, I am very, very happy. All right, so let's glue these in. Oh, it doesn't matter if I get the bubbles out because you're not going to see the bubble. So that's my saga. So I'm not getting a dishwasher. I'm not getting a stove. So he said, maybe I can get this winter out of my furnace and the tank. He says tops 2 to 3 years. Just trying to wiggle that into place there. Tops, I can get 2 to 3 years out of it. And I was like, okay, let's hope. There. How cute are these? So these have little dots. These have the grass. Super cute. And my saga. You get to hear my story of my saga. And let's see how this one is drying over here. Still not dry. This is going to take a long time to dry. It's all right. I'm going to do something else with these bales. With these pendants, I mean. These I like. These, I think they're going to be super cute and whimsical on my table. So I'm doing the Enlightenment Expo in Portland, Maine, which is September 27th at the Fireside Inn and Suites. $5 admission to get in, get you into all the speakers. I am speaking at the event, first one of the day, 6 speakers. I'm going to be talking about journaling and the art of journaling and how you can use journaling with cards, with whatever, everything. I'm going to be doing psychic readings. I'm going to be taking bookings for future psychic readings at a discounted price, selling crystals, decks, jewelry, journals, all the fun stuff. So come check that out. There's information on my website, www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne.com. Please check that out. I have a lot of products there if you're interested, but I also have free classes on my website and free guided meditations, free printables, all that fun stuff, as well as subscribe to this channel. I would be so happy if you did that. I'm trying to get my numbers way up. Thanks so much for tuning in. Give these a try. Let me know. Tag me on Instagram and Blue Sky, Chrisanne1234. Take care and be free. Okay, now be free.